During my last few years in the service, I was stationed at a base called 29 Palms. Smack dab in the middle of the Mojave Desert, it didn't have much going for it. But if you were willing to make the drive, you could be in LA, San Diego, or Vegas within a few hours. Which brings us to the topic of this video. When driving from 29 to Vegas, you'll go through a small town called Amboy. A quaint little town consisting of nothing more than a post office, Roy's Cafe, and some rundown buildings including an old abandoned school. Just passing by, you'd assume the town is abandoned. But according to the US Census, Amboy does have a population of 5 people. For being as quiet and quaint as it seems, there's a lot of dark rumors and history surrounding the area. As soon as you pull into Amboy, regardless of time or day, you'll notice there's a strange feeling of someone or something watching you. It doesn't matter if it's just you and your friends, or the town is full of passerbyers taking in the sights. The middle of the day or dead of night, the feeling is always there, and you can't shake it. Now, with any creepy little place like this, you're bound to have some hauntings. In an interview with a local news station, Carol Aceves, the town manager, stated that it's not uncommon to hear children play and scream from the school, but in the dead of night. I should also note the school has been closed since around the 1980s. I'm not a very religious person, but you can't necessarily ignore the religion-based legends of the area that feed into the cause of the rumors. About 2 miles from the town itself is the Amboy Crater. I mean, you can't miss it. It's a giant black mountain that sticks out like a sore thumb. But the legend goes that when God cast Satan from heaven and he fell to earth, it's believed the Amboy Crater is where Satan landed. In reality, it's nothing more than an extinct volcano, but even still, you can't help but notice how out of place the crater looks compared to its environment. The Joshua tree is an interesting plant in and of itself, as they supposedly only grow in 2 parts of the world: Jerusalem, often considered the holiest place in the world, and near Amboy, the place people believe Satan fell to earth. Now, I should note there are no actual Joshua trees in Amboy proper, but the Joshua Tree National Forest is roughly 70 miles away, and just past the Kelso Dunes to the east of Amboy, the trees continue to grow, which just begs the question, what causes the trees to stop growing in the area? With all this talk of Satan, I'm sure you wouldn't be too surprised to find out there's a lot of rumors of cults and cannibals running around the area. Now, there are varying versions of this, so take it with a grain of salt. But major rumors of cults stem from the belief that back in the 60s, Charles Manson and his family would roam the desert in and around Amboy, so people who idolize and worship Charles have formed a bit of a cult in the area, looking for stranded motorists to sacrifice in his name. Another rumor is a satanic cult who stay in the area preying on the same motorist to sacrifice them in Satan's name. And then there's the belief that these 2 separate cults are one and the same. And I know this talk of cults may sound made up, but there is some arguable truth to these claims, as there are many stories telling a similar situation of people coming across a car with a couple stranded on the side of the road, only to drive past and see the couple is fine, and there are anywhere from 3 to 10 people hiding just out of sight on the side of the road, ready to take anyone willing to help. Or the story from Reddit by user 0331 I Eat Rocks, about how he and some friends were attacked by cultists just outside of Amboy. Bear in mind the story was posted to No Sleep, so you should take that with a grain of salt, but it's not a terrible read. And it does add to the validity of everyone in 29 will tell you, don't stop in Amboy and don't go there at night. Now, these next 2 things don't necessarily fit the religious or cultish events surrounding the area, but they are worth mentioning. Just outside the town, there are these 2 Chinese guardian lions in a field about 300 yards apart from each other, which is odd considering these lions are typically placed in front of palaces and tombs to ward off evil spirits and protect those inside. And they look as if they're guarding nothing. And these are no small lions either. They stand a solid 5 to 6 feet tall, which is why I've always wondered who put them out there and why. And lastly, 6 miles from Amboy, you'll find the road is closed off, leaving you only 2 options: to go east towards Kelso on your way to Vegas, or turn back around to Amboy. But just past the closed road is the town of Chambliss, a ghost town that as of 2006 has a population of 6 people and a dog. But looking on Google Maps will show you every entrance to the town is blocked off with closed road signs, which leads to the question as to why so much work went into blocking off this town, when so many ghost towns in this region of the United States are free to visit. It certainly leaves much to the imagination. I've personally only ever seen one truck leave Chambliss, and let me just say, that truck was speeding like a bat out of hell, almost as if the driver was running from something. But I don't know, I've always wanted to explore it, but I've also seen enough horror movies to know that that's how you go missing. Okay, well that's gonna do it for this one. Hope everyone enjoyed this kind of Halloween special type deal. If you're ever on a road trip in the area, I hope you consider looking into the Woodall stop. Just don't buy gas there. Roy charges like $8 a gallon. Have a good night. I love you all.